afternoon, folks. Welcome back. It's John Pettipas, and it's 27 minutes past 2 o'clock in the afternoon on the afternoon of Tuesday, the 31st day of August. And this is a tribute I promised. I mentioned this about a week and a half ago. It's a tribute to the Honorable Lloyd P. Hines. It's a tribute to the Honorable Lloyd Paul Hines. I am just back from errands in Eastern Antigonish County and beautiful Cape Breton Island. I went down through Trackety, Monastery, Linwood, Harbour-Bushy Village, East Harbour-Bushy to Auld Cove, crossed the causeway, and back up the Trans-Canada Highway, back home, turn off at Monastery. And man, oh man, there's been a lot of highway work done here. Honorable Lloyd P. Hines was the Minister of Transportation Infrastructure Renewal, known as Department of Highways, for the last 4 years, from 2017 through to, well, the election on Monday night, actually Tuesday night, the 17th day of August 2021. Now, to take, Lloyd was born in Cape Breton. He is a Cape Bretoner. I've already called a first-generation mainlander. Okay, first beautiful Cape Breton. Lloyd was born in beautiful Margaret's Glen, Margaret's Village. Just you go Ingonish Beach, Ingonish, Neil's Harbour, and just beyond Neil's Harbour. And he's the oldest of four. His parents had four. He's the oldest son. There was one sister who since died of cancer and two other brothers. So oldest of four. I always have the expression, oldest is always the smartest often. Well, he was the oldest of four. And his first job he had, paid job to get some financial relation for, was cutting up bait. Cutting up bait for the fishermen along the north shore of Cape Breton Island. And he had a grandmother. He learned a lot from his grandmother. His grandmother gave him a bucket and he'd go out picking blueberries in August, about now. And he said, Granny said, when you're picking blueberries, taught him, stick to your bush. Stick to your bush. Okay, so he stuck to his bush and he'd fill up that pail of blueberries or cranberries, whatever the season was, and come on home. And Granny was show his parents what he did, and his little sisters, two younger brothers, and they were pretty proud of him. So he takes, and he's an aunt. I met his daughter, Victoria, the youngest daughter. It was the weekend after he first got elected provincially, and 2013, October 2013 election. Came in the way home, buy something in the store with his daughter, Victoria. And Victoria, of course, Lloyd was born in Margaret Village, just outside Neil's Harbour, Victoria County, and her daughter's Victoria. And I said to Patricia one time, that's a wonderful name for your youngest daughter. And said, Ron Kaplan of Cape Breton magazine, his first daughter, was named Breton after Cape Breton Island. He says, bad. Wow, she said, our daughter's middle name is Victoria Breton Hines. And so that's pretty damn good. Victoria Breton Hines. I thought you'd like that one. And anyway, he was coming back from visiting his aunt, who was up in the nursing home part of the Neil's Harbour Hospital. And one side is nursing home, one side is hospital. And the lady was 100 years old, and I remember reading that lady's obituary a few years later. She died at 102. So good Lord willing, Lloyd will be around for a long time to come. Now, one of his biggest accomplishments was when he was a businessman in Guysborough. He had a convenience store. I think it was called, in fact, I know it was called the Wonder Store. And the cancer bus or the big taxi vans, the passenger vans that come into a store and pick up magazines and candy and pop and chocolate bars. So they're sailing out. They're sailing out from the port of Canso. And with that fish plant shut, it really hurt business, because the van used to call on the way back home. They were, after sailing for several weeks, they'd want more magazines, newspaper, chocolate bars, pop, cigarettes, whatever. Okay, and he takes, and I said, how did you get this idea of the Sable offshore gas project, get it to Goldboro? And, people criticized some of that. They said, you're wasting your time, Lloyd. Halifax gets everything. He said, no, Halifax is not going to get this. We're going to work hard, do our darndest to get it here in Guysborough County. And they said, well, maybe you're right. Maybe Halifax isn't going to get it. Okay, Cape Breton gets everything. And please don't take offense, my dear Cape Breton friends. Say, Cape Breton gets everything. All the industry is located over in Point Tupper. He said, no, Cape Breton's not going to get it. He said, what motivated you? I asked him to do this. He said, John, in between customers, I was reading a newspaper. I'm a good reader of newspaper. He was reading a newspaper, and he came across a little short article in the Halifax Herald business pages. And that was the genesis of him contacting what was this consortium of Exxon and Shell Oil. It was called the Exxon Shell Oil, the Sable Offshore Energy Project for natural gas to come into Goldboro, and it was on land. They on-land processing, and the liquids were taken out, went over to the lateral to Point Tupper to be fracked into the tains, butane, methane, and propane, and the gas went up for the pipeline. It was, and that project brought $2.6 billion. That's not 2.6 million. That's not 26 million. That's not 260 million. $2.6 billion. There's salaries paid because of that. There's highway plows. There's roads that have been paved or graveled or done. There's hospitals built and schools. $2.6 billion that project brought in, and it came to Goldboro, the beautiful community, coastal community of Goldboro, Guysborough County. And we take some post the fish plant. He said, we were desperate. He said, it was the exact term he told me. We were desperate. Now, and that was the genesis of that project, and they invested the money well. They made Sable Wind Farm, Vulcan Materials will be here. There's other stuff. There's a set of the plant, the landfill site. They take that. That's a wonderful thing. That makes money. That's a good project. You have the lowest property tax rates in Atlantic Canada. Residential property tax rates in Guysborough district, municipality district of Guysborough. Lloyd genuinely cares about people. I remember one night he phoned up, it was a Thursday or Friday. John, I can't talk long, but where does so-and-so live? And it was a 65th wedding anniversary for somebody, and he was bringing down citation. Brought it right to the people's door in their home. Okay, I explained what turnoff you go to, and they brought it up to their home in Frankville. And they were delighted. He was delighted to meet them. I think he knew them before, some of the children, sons and daughters, but he got to meet the parents. He shook their hand, looked at 9% of citation. That genuinely compares about people. His wonderful wife, Patricia. I've often made the comment, I'm going to repeat it. Patricia privately has done more constituency work than some MLAs have done. I'm going to repeat that one. I said, Honourable Lloyd P. Hines, I will add the Honourable Lloyd P. and Mrs. Patricia, Honourable Mrs. Patricia Hines. Wonderful, more than wonderful, fantastic lady. I applaud her. You know how many times I spoke to her, morning, noon, and night, weekends, weekdays. Honourable Joan would have took the only one who took more calls. Be Honourable Joan, because Bill Gillis's his time in provincial politics was 28 years, and I spoke to her probably every month, and sometimes several times a month over those 25 years, last 25 years of Honourable Bill's labour of love, service to the people of not only Antigonish County, but statesmen for Nova Scotia. And such is the case with Lloyd. Okay? Lloyd has repeatedly told me, he's told me that, and I could never do it without her. I could never do it without her. And I can sincerely look in this camera, video, and I can tell you, I have never heard Patricia complain. Now that's remarkable. If you only know how hard a dedicated MLA works. And I have never heard his wonderful wife Patricia complain. Not once. And I've spoken to only one. I'm 61 years old. I've always been interested in politics since I've been a kid, young teenager, 12, 13, 14 years old. So going on what? That makes me 45 to 47 years. And they take in 48 years almost, I guess. And the only one I would have spoke to more is Honourable Joan, and of course husband Honourable Bill. But this is a remarkable, wonderful lady. And they take it, people sometimes can be hard to please. I remember Bill Gillis saying, when I first started politics, it was little things. And I remember one time, I'm not a fan of Angus McIsaac, but there was somebody I went to school with, his older brother was involved in a ball field, and he was on the radio at noon hour one day talking about, we're only looking for $500,000. Only? I mean, some of the shit you put up in public life. Today there's a guy just right about now being sworn into some cabinet job, and it's Alan McMaster. It's not slanderous, it's right in the Hansard. One day in legislature, he got up and he complained that the Government of Steve McNeil and the Minister, Honourable Lloyd P. Hines of Highways, was ignoring Route 19 and it was hurting tourism. And he said if they put some money into Route 19, the moonshine makers of his constituency could send some of their wares up to the minister. That was meant to be an insult. And so I don't even touch liquor. I don't even tea or coffee, but Lloyd, I would have said words that would have got me expelled from the legislature. But anyway, what Lloyd kept us cool, and this is how you have to do it in parliament procedure, legislature. He said, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the honourable member across the aisle, honourable member for Inverness, for his generous offer. But he says, there was a time in my life when his generous offer would appeal to me, but I don't drink now. Okay, and so Alan didn't know what to say, and then furthermore, he said there was a Tory minister of tourism, one Fisher Hudson from Victoria County, that back in the 1980s and John Buchanan took and started putting signs up at Middle River. But he said, Bedeck, the beginning and the end of the Cabot Trail. And I can tell you when the Tories were in power, I spoke to a gentleman over towards Sherbrooke, and he worked very hard on the campaign. And wasn't there to get this time, but he worked very hard. And I spoke to him twice during the campaign and once after. And I said, what was it? But I didn't see this majority come in for the PCs. And he said, John, this volunteer said to me, the people forgot how bad the Tories are. He said, John, the people forgot how bad the Tories are. And I can tell you, John Pettipas from Highway 4 in Tracadie, we didn't get one friggin' bit of road work done on Old Route 4 here, to the point that the Canadian Lines was going to take their buses off the road between Afton and Harbour Bushy, because the roads were so full of potholes. You know, Inverness counted well under Steve McNeil. They got the MRI up in the hospital in Rest. It's a beautiful hospital. They're wonderful people up there. Wonderful. The people that work there, that you just feel. I visit somebody at Invery Manor and go to the hospital, and you just feel the kindness and generosity. They represent the very best of Cape Breton. The people that work up there, they're great people. Okay, this is a beautiful tune. Beautiful tune here. Hear that? That is Winston Scotty Fitzgerald playing the green fields of White Point. And Winston Scotty, the famous fiddler, was from White Point, Victoria County. Hear the song? Hear the tune? That's the green fields of White Point. I had a call the other night from a Tory guy, a nice guy, but we talk politics. We're on different sides of the book provincially, but federally we're on the same side. Anyway, he said he knew Winston Scotty's, and he said Winston Scotty said every time he played a tune, he tried to improve it. Every time he played a tune, he tried to improve it. So I'm going to wrap this up. I've gone on almost 14 minutes now. I'm going to bring Case Irving this. When Case Irving left New Brunswick, he had to stay 6 months and 1 day out of Canada. It hurt him badly to leave his Bill and province, go to Bermuda, because it's a private company. That the state taxes would have ruined the thing, and they would have to sell off lots of the companies, and people would have lost their jobs. Anyway, it was a nice editorial in the paper, and I'm going to plagiarize it. One of the New Brunswick papers. I believe it was the Telegraph Journal and Moncton Times Transcript, or the Telegraph Journal in St. John's. And he said, New Brunswick's lost KC. And he said, will the tides rise and fall in the Bay of Fundy? And rhetorical question. Will the tides rise and fall in the Bay of Fundy? It's the deepest tides in the world, highest tides in the world, and the most profound in and out. Will the sun rise and sun set? Will the moon rise and set? And of course, the answer to those is yes, yes, yes. He said, when we've lost Casey Irving, is New Brunswick richer or poorer? And answer those three questions is yes, yes, yes. When the Honourable Lloyd P. Hines is no longer, as of today, in the Nova Scotia legislature, representing the great riding of Guysborough Tracadie, formerly Guysborough Eastern George Tracadie, I can sincerely say, is the public discourse, is the people of Nova Scotia, is it richer or poorer? And Nova Scotia, this wonderful statesman, Honourable Lloyd P. Hines, I applaud you. Honourable Lloyd P. Hines, first generation mainlander from the beautiful Cape Breton Island, one of the finest MLAs, statesmen I have ever had the privilege of knowing. We thank him for his service, and I know he'll be reincarnated somehow and in some way. They'll decide this Patricia and Lloyd, his wonderful wife of 45 years, and the election was called. Lloyd and Patricia were married for 45 years as a 17th day of July 2021. And they're wonderful people. All the best. God bless to Honourable Lloyd and Honourable Patricia Hines, equally Honourable Patricia Hines, and all you wonderful viewers. Share this tribute around, promote a discussion, and press the subscribe button. Until next time, wish you all the best. God bless to all our viewers and subscribers. Thank you. Bye for now.